The silence in your yard happens in seconds. Within moments of a predator arriving nearby, bird vocal activity stops across the landscape. One of the most immediate causes of sudden bird silence is the presence of a predator. Hawks, cats, owls, snakes, even humans moving too close to nests. By staying quiet, birds reduce the chance of revealing their location to a hunter already in the area. The predator is already hunting, and the birds know exactly where it is. What happens next reveals the sophisticated biology behind that sudden hush. Different bird species in your yard aren't just listening to their own kind, they're actively monitoring each other's warning signals in what researchers call heterospecific eavesdropping. When a chickadee spots a hawk and calls out, the cardinals, wrens, and finches all understand that alarm, even though it's not their language. Cornell research on alarm responses shows that birds perceive threat from heterospecific alarms and are contagiously stimulated to alarm rather than inhibited. The silence you notice isn't birds shutting down, it's the brief moment before they all join in with their own species' alarm calls, creating a coordinated warning network that spreads across your entire neighborhood in seconds. The silence patterns tell you exactly which predator is lurking. Hawk silence is instant and absolute. The moment a sharp-shinned hawk or goshawk appears, bird vocal activity stops across the landscape within seconds. That complete shutdown happens because these raptors hunt by speed and surprise. Birds know that silence is their only defense against a predator already committed to the strike. Cat silence builds differently. Cats stalk slowly and deliberately, staying low while moving toward their target. This creates a gradual wave of quiet as birds nearest the cat stop first, then their neighbors fall silent as the predator creeps closer. The silence spreads outward like ripples, partial and progressive, rather than the complete shutdown that hawks trigger. Snake silence is even more localized. Birds near a coiled snake or one moving through brush will freeze in that immediate area, but birds farther away may continue calling, unaware of the threat. Each predator type leaves its own signature in the timing and pattern of that quiet in your yard. Based on the script so far about how different predator silence patterns reveal which threat is lurking, have you ever noticed whether the silence in your own yard happens instantly when a hawk appears versus building gradually when a cat is prowling? Comment your answer below. Now, let's discover what those alarm calls that follow. The silence are actually telling you about the predator's exact location and hunting strategy. But the silence isn't just a warning, it's the moment when aerial predators strike with deadly precision. Cooper's hawks hunt by stealth, moving from perch to perch in dense cover, then putting on a burst of speed to overtake prey. They typically conceal their approach and catch their prey by surprise while flying low to the ground, using vegetation for cover. Once potential prey is detected, these hawks usually attack with a sudden burst of speed. The quiet period you notice is actually the most dangerous moment for birds in your yard. A Cooper's hawk captures a bird with its feet and kills it by repeated squeezing, holding its catch away from the body until it dies. That complete silence creates the perfect acoustic cover for a predator that depends on surprise. No warning calls means no chance for prey to escape once the attack begins. Your presence in the yard adds another layer to how birds assess threat. Research shows that starlings will keep away from their food dish if a human is looking at it. However, if the person is just as close but their eyes are turned away, the birds resumed feeding earlier and consumed more food overall. Your direct gaze triggers the same predator assessment system that responds to hawks. Birds interpret sustained eye contact as hunting behavior. When you step outside and scan your yard, every bird within sight is evaluating your head position, eye direction, and movement patterns to determine if you're actively hunting or just passing through. Rapid, unpredictable movements or a direct, sustained stare can signal predatory intent, triggering an immediate flight response. This means the silence in your yard often extends longer when you're present, not because the actual predator has left, but because the birds are now monitoring two potential threats simultaneously. Understanding how your own behavior triggers that same silence response opens the door to a completely different relationship with the birds in your yard. Position yourself quietly near a window where you can observe without adding movement to the scene. The key to building trust lies in becoming predictable rather than threatening, moving slowly, avoiding direct stares, and maintaining consistent routines